So today's guest is Lex Bratcher. She is a rapper out of the DMV. She started rapping when she was 8 years old. She went to college to study political sciences. She dropped out in sophomore year to pursue music full-time. In the first 2 years, she was able to land a song with NDPNDNT, Futuristic, N9ne, to name a few. She's one of my personal favorite lyricists right now. I was lucky enough to get a song with her earlier this year called Receipts. I'm really excited to talk to you. What's up, Lex?
Woo, what's going on, guys? Thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thanks so much for being here.
Of course.
Okay, so 8 years old, you start rapping. What was that like? Were you putting videos out on YouTube or was it just for fun at home with your family?
So yeah, when I first started rapping, my mom was dating this guy at the time, and he basically had some money and he was like, I want to put it into somewhere. So he created a record label. And he had a friend that had a studio in his basement, and it was a legit studio. And one day, I think like my mom wasn't going to be able to be home at a certain time. So he actually had to take me because he had a session with one of his artists. And I went to the studio with him, and I loved it. I got to see the whole process, and I was like, I want to do that. So I went home. And one day I asked him, I said, can you help me write a song? Can you help me write a song? And so he was like, yeah, I'll help you on this day. So that day came, and he was like, okay, I'm going to write 2 lines for you, and then you have to keep going. And so he wrote my first 2 lines he's the only person who's ever written anything for me. And after that, I took it, and he was like, this is good enough. Let's go actually to the studio and record it. And so we went to the guy's studio one day, and we recorded it, and it sounded really good. So he was like, let's just do a whole EP. So I kept writing, and I wrote an entire EP. And at the time my name was Young Lexi Poo, or Young Lex.
I love it.
I like Lexi Poo.
I do too.
Yeah.
Wait, do you still have a recording of that EP you made when you were 8? Oh
yeah,
my God.
All of the songs are on YouTube.
No way. I didn't know that. That's incredible.
Okay, when I edit this, I'm going to put in some clips, if you don't mind, because that is epic.
Awesome.
Do you still keep in contact with him? Because that's such a pivotal part of your career. I think that's a really cool person to have.
Yeah, I don't actually. Once him and my mom had kind of split ways, it was like cut off. So
I guess that's right. It'd be kind of weird if you kept talking to him.
Yeah, it's all good though. You know, I think like things happen for a reason, and he kind of sparked that interest in becoming a musician in me. And so, you know, it's a win for me.
That is so cool.
So when you did that when you were 8 years old, did you then continue to keep uploading stuff, or did you take a break and come back to it in high school? What was kind of the process from then till college?
So when I had first started, I was in 3rd grade, and I wasn't really allowed to have I wasn't really allowed to have like any social medias really. I think YouTube had just come out because I was in 3rd grade in 2007. So YouTube had just come out, or it probably had been out, but people were starting to use it. But I wasn't able to upload anything up until I was like 11. And so really I was just writing music and burning them on CDs. And I'd actually like go to events with my mom and hand the CDs to people. And I would write with my 11-year-old handwriting, my email, which was younglexipoo@yahoo.com. And then I I said Young Lex mixtape, and then I would put all of the tracks out and all that kind of stuff. And I did a bunch of handwritten ones, and I was trying to go out there and hand them out.
Damn, so you've been a self-made promoter since the start. That is so cool.
Yeah, I was going to say that doesn't always come natural as a kid to also be thinking about selling it. So that's cool that you had that mindset so young.
Yeah, well, I think at that time, the mindset was like, I want to get signed, because that was what everyone wanted. You know, I want to get signed to a label, because once you sign to a label, your life is made. You're set for life. You know, that's not the case, but that's what the goal was back then. And then as I started to get older, I then was able to upload on YouTube. I was able to do contests, and I was able to sort of the ones that were free, I was able to do, and do remixes where now we could download beats off of YouTube. So I could do the remix. I remember I did like a Rico remix, or I did a Kendrick Lamar Backseat Freestyle remix, and all those different things. And then when I was like 12 or 13, that's when SoundCloud came, and we were SoundCloud rappers. And I didn't take it too serious. I was more focused on basketball at the time than anything else. I wanted to go and play basketball, but it didn't spark me the way that I wanted it to. And so I ended up sticking to music.
Gotcha. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that she dropped out of college to pursue music full time.
Oh, yeah.
What made you make that decision? Because that's a big decision to make at such a young age.
Yeah, it was really, once again, I thought I make a lot of my decisions, unfortunately and fortunately, based off of my emotions. And when I first went to school, I went to school for political science. Huge, just I realized that the change that I wanted to make was never going to be made if I were to go into politics, because there's really not much that any individual congressman or senator can do if the rest of your party doesn't agree, or if, the rest of the house doesn't agree. And so I just felt really powerless. And that's hilarious because people go into those things for power. And
right.
I didn't want to have to live a certain lifestyle and not be able to be myself for the sake of going and fighting for things that I think would really benefit people, and having it being turned down because it's not going to make another party enough, money. And so went from political science to computer science. And because at the time I was working at Geek Squad, I was like, I could get into this, I can make some money from this. But then once again, I wasn't interested in it. The only thing that I just found myself, I kept going back to was music. So I was like, I'm going to do it. So one day, me and my mom is my best friend. So I was
Lex
like 45
Bratcher's
minutes. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, my mom is my best friend. And so every Thursday, I had a class at like 7 a.m. and then I'd have my next class at like 1. So after class, I'd drive and we'd meet halfway at this restaurant and we'd eat brunch every Thursday. And so she just would hear all of the stories about, well, Mom, look this is what happened with music today. And this is. And then one day she asked me, like, did you register for next year's classes? And I was like, yeah, listen, let me just tell you before I even get there, like, this is what's going to happen, Mom. I'm about to make it really big. And she was like, you're not going back to school, are you? And I was like, nope. So that was the time that I dropped out because I kind of had her blessing. And from then, yeah, it's music only.
She's a legend. I feel like most parents would have freaked out in that moment, but it shows how much faith she really has in your craft and how much faith she has in you that you're going to make it and that you are making it, so that she could feel at peace with your decision. That's so cool.
Yeah, she's great. And I think too, the other thing with her was her brothers are like lawyers and doctors, and she went for her passion. And so she didn't feel like it would be fair to tell me I couldn't go for my passion as well. Her passion was social work and helping. So she does the political stuff that's kind of why I was going to follow her lead. But ultimately, yeah, she followed her passion, so she can't tell me that I can't. And it is nice that she does she does believe in me, which is helpful.
That's amazing. Now, around this time, what was the main outlet that you were using to get your music out there? Was it popping off most on YouTube or Instagram? Was your Spotify going crazy? What were you focusing on most at that point?
When I had dropped out of college, I was focusing the most on SoundCloud. I didn't understand how to put my music on any type of platforms yet. I didn't know about DistroKid, TuneCore, United Masters or anything like that. And so I was very heavily, I just blow up from SoundCloud like I've seen everyone else do, kind of. And that's what I was focused on the most.
Speaking of those distribution outlets, do you mind if we ask which one you use and why you use it between DistroKid, TuneCore, and United Masters?
I will be 100% honest with you. I clicked on the first one when I typed in distribution, and it was DistroKid.
Got it.
But
That's the one I use.
Yeah. They all have their perks and disadvantages. I think one of the ones I would have done, but I also heard some crazy stuff about is United Masters, because they have the ability when you upload your music to like upload it automatically to like be able to be picked in like for movies or for TV shows or for video games. Right. And so I have a good friend, his name is Merkums, and he actually uploaded to United Masters, uploaded a song to be on 2K, and I think they put it on like NBA. Oh,
wow. So it works.
Yeah, so it works. You know, if your music is good, it works. Mm-hmm.
So the pro is you get kind of automatically pitched for publishing, sync but deals, they take a higher percentage, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, yeah, DistroKid and TuneCore don't take any percentage. And if I'm correct, I'm going to have to fact check this, but I think United Masters, it's either 10 or 15% that they take of the streaming royalties. But I mean, if that's coming with the exposure of being on a video game soundtrack, it's like what's worth more. So yeah, like you said, there's pros and cons. Just got to do your research and pick what sounds best for you.
Okay, I want to talk about current day Lex. What is your creative process like? Do you record in a studio? How long does it take to write a typical song? Walk us through the creation from A to Z.
Okay, so first step of all of my creations is procrastination. Okay, you gotta have that.
I can relate to that.
Yeah, you get it. I think most artists do, and I think it's important to talk about, because I don't want any young artist to think that it just comes super easy. It's hard. It's really difficult, and it's difficult when you've been doing it for so long and you feel like you're not at the stage that you want to be at. To like, oh, okay, I'm gonna write another song. Let's see if this hits. Oh, it doesn't hit. Okay, and getting yourself that motivation to continue. But usually what I'll do is listen to beats first. So people send me beats all the time. I go and I listen. If I find a beat that I like, phone is away. And I do it in like hour increments, where I'll say, you have to write for an hour, then you get a 20-minute break. You got to write for an hour, then you get a 20-minute break. That way you're not like completely frying your brain out. And because I used to try to go for like, I could write a verse in or a song in like 3 hours, but then I would not want to do it again tomorrow because I burnt myself out. And so now it's like a little bit here, a little bit there. And then I record. I usually record either at my own house, or if I'm at the studio, it's me and the engineer. I don't let anyone else come in. I don't want to hear anyone's opinions about anything. I don't want to feel like I have to be like cool. Like everyone goes to the studio. Everyone who I know goes to the studio. They go to the studio with chains on and, you know, Balenciaga. And I go in shorts and a t-shirt because I'm there to I'm there to record. And from there, mix and master it myself. Sometimes, other times I will get it done somewhere else, and then I put it out.
Do you feel like those shorter increments of writing have helped you with writer's block?
Yes, definitely. I feel like when I write for longer periods of times, I burn myself out to the point where tomorrow I'm like, I don't want to do it. Or I'll tell myself like, okay, you went so hard yesterday, you can't do that again. And then it gets into like a negative headspace. And then you're like, I don't think I'll be able to top that anymore. And then it keeps going downhill. And so, like I said, the breaks are super important because it keeps you in the moment, and it's like, or it keeps you present, I would say. And it allows for me to remind myself, okay, this is the music part, but I'm also me, and I'm also, you know, whatever, I'm good. I'm okay to take the breaks. I feel like I'm kind of, it's kind of not making sense. In my head, it makes more sense.
It makes a lot of sense. Okay, so to any artists out there, if you're struggling with writer's block, try the Lex Bratcher method and set a timer for 1 hour. Give yourself grace, give yourself a break, and then try again.
Totally.
I love that.
I do too.
I saw you had a question and I completely interrupted you.
No, it's okay. I was going to go back to, I know you had mentioned that sometimes you mix and master your own stuff. And I love that whole DIY thing, especially as an independent artist. Is that something you taught yourself by watching YouTube tutorials? What was the method that you used to learn how to do that?
Yep, 100% all YouTube. I almost went to Full Sail University. I don't know if anyone's familiar with that, but it's like a music school in Florida. I went there, I did the whole tour and everything. And I have friends that went there, but I just decided that, well, I wanted to take the political science route instead, but also, everything you can learn online now, everything. What I will say, but this takes time with everything, is maybe going to a school, you have the ability to listen for different things a little bit better, but not anything that you can't learn. So it might take someone who went to music school a year to perfect the mix and the master of stuff, and versus 2 years for someone who's just doing it off of YouTube.
Yeah.
And so that's how I learned, was YouTube. Now, I will say that as I've started to kind of go more into the professional aspect of it, I have started to give my music to other people to produce who have been doing it for 10 years, just because it saves me time. And then I can focus more on myself and the branding aspect and all that kind of stuff.
I love that. I can relate to that because early on when I was just doing remixes on YouTube, I was mixing and mastering my own stuff. And I mean, it didn't sound great, but at least, you could put it out and it could sound somewhat good. But now, yes, I have, my brother-in-law, Christian, is the one who mixes and masters all my stuff. But I think it's so important to have the knowledge of knowing how to do it so that when you're dealing with a mixing engineer, you know what words to use. You can talk about the delay and the reverb, and it's a little bright here. Can you, so I think it's so important that you taught yourself that, because now you know how to communicate with the professionals to get what you want out of it.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, another thing too is for the artists out there that are looking for to get signed or anything like that, it will take a lot of costs away if you kind of learn how to do it yourself. You can still get signed to do for distribution and touring and stuff like that, but they're going to charge you $3,000 for an hour session. Yeah. And if you know how to do it yourself and you've kind of got it there, then you're saving yourself money, which I think is super helpful in the end.
Great point.
So you mentioned focusing more on self-branding. For you, what's harder, writing the music or marketing yourself? Because right now I feel like it's a 50-50 split. If you can't market yourself, no one's going to hear your music. So how do you handle that and how did you learn?
I would say it's so difficult for me to do the marketing stuff. I've never had to learn how to market, because usually, and this is not, I have such a anomaly factor in the sense of whoa, this girl is rapping fast, she has bars. So it's kind of like, if I posted something, it would immediately kind of pick up. And I wouldn't really have to, I've never put any money into promotion, ever. I've never put, because first of all,
impressive.
I don't know. Yeah, oh, thank you. I don't know how. And I don't know who I would be marketing to. When people say, well, you want to go on a tour, how do you get people in a certain city? I have no idea. So that's going to be a lot more harder, but that's what I'm trying to learn, because the writing part is easy. I feel like, well, Connor, I don't know. You feel that same way?
I mean, honestly, I feel like, well, Brianna has helped me a lot because she comes from a marketing background. And at one point, honestly, the writing and the promoting was hard. A lot of times music is difficult for me to write and I get frustrated. It's not always easy. And then the whole idea of TikTok was I don't really understand it. I don't want to do it, and Brianna was the one that convinced me. And now we've realized how important this, short-term content is, and doing skits and remixes and just finding unique ways to promote your original music as well. And now I've really enjoyed that. And I feel like I'm honestly at a place where the marketing is actually easier than the writing.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know why, but it feels that way. I don't know if you feel that way recently.
Well, I'm not the one that has to write.
No,
so.
I just mean from looking at me, because it used to be so hard for you to be like, hey, can you, create a piece of content?
You've definitely improved.
But now it's...
I'd like to touch on the paid promotion for you real quick, Lex, because just hearing about how you said you would have no idea, I'm going to geek out for 20 seconds. If I were to promote you right now on Facebook with a paid ad, I would look at your analytics on social media, see what your top cities are. I would target those cities and then target people that are interested in Missy Elliott, Eminem, NF, Joyner Lucas, some of the lyricists that if they're a fan of them, they're going to be a fan of you. And you can get that specific on Facebook, which is cool. You can target to males in Atlanta from the ages of 18 to 24 who like Eminem,
input rapper,
rapper here that you, or Tech9, fans of Tech9, we would market you to them. So if you ever want to do that, I'm always here for you to help you because
this was something I knew.
Yeah, this is something I knew
we'll
nothing
talk about that later. But yeah, any artists out there who have no idea where to start, you can get that specific as long as you know your audience. You can sell to that audience,
and you also don't have to spend that much.
You don't. Yeah, you don't. I mean, we grew Connor's Facebook page to 80,000 followers in a few months, and it was like 1 cent per result sometimes, or half a cent.
Yeah, if you had the right content and the right audience, it converted really well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow,
So,
awesome.
Okay, back to Lex.
Yeah, I have a question. One thing I've been really talking about content. One thing I've been really impressed by with you, and I know you say it's hard for you to put stuff out, but I feel like you're always posting. Like I remember when I first discovered you, it was like a new post, a new remix, a new feature, a new song. I'm like, holy crap! Like you put out a lot of content. So my question is, how do you know what to prioritize? Like an original song, a remix, someone's asking you for a feature, jump on this song, create this TikTok content. How do you know what to prioritize?
Yeah. So usually I prioritize features over anything because that's someone who's put their hard-earned money into, into me. And so I feel like they deserve kind of my all at that time. So if I get someone to pay for a feature, it's like, okay, boom, you get first dibs essentially. Then I work on growing. So I do the money, the growth aspect, which is more so for me, the remixes. Doing all the remixes, people love it. They already hear the song that they like. So now they're going to listen to, okay, let's see if she's actually good enough to be on this beat. And then lastly would be my own music. Recently though, I've been switching that around just because this is something that I want a lot of the artists that are watching this to understand. You can be great at doing the remixes and the freestyles and all that kind of stuff. But if someone doesn't have any music to listen to, then what are you doing? And I feel like for me, for me, this even goes to, and we can talk about this too later. When I did a song with Tech9, I had like 2 songs on Apple Music and Spotify. And so it's like people can love the content or they can love the verse that I put, but they're going to get tired of that verse after a while. So what can they go to that's new? Okay, I have 2 other songs out. That's not going to grow a fan. I should have consistent music out so people will, number one, have something to buy, for the independent artist aspect of it and making money, but also so that they have other things to kind of to
latch
become
onto.
A fan off of. Yes. Yeah. To become a fan. Anyone can like something, but becoming a fan and becoming a paying fan is what you're looking for.
Connor was just on the phone last night with Nick D. I don't know if you've seen him. He's everywhere on TikTok. He's incredible. And he said, if there's one piece of advice, Connor, I could give to you, maybe slow down on the TikTok remixes and focus on promoting original music because those people are going to like it, but they're liking it because it's a Drake song. They're liking it because it's a Corday song.
And you're going to be known as like the remix kid. And then once you start posting original stuff, people will be like, oh, that's not what I followed you for. So it's definitely good to keep that in mind. And it's so cool to know that you have that mindset. That's so smart. It's
great to build an audience, but now that you guys both have your audiences, it's like take the techniques you use to promote the remixes and now use it for your own. So like next time you drop a song, Lex, I bet you can do that same kind of like remix producer skit, but now it's just your own song and people will love it just as much.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. I'm about to do that today now. Thank you.
Do you have any new original music coming out soon that you're excited about?
So I've been working on an album, 10 songs.
Oh my God.
Would this be the debut album?
This would be my debut.
Oh,
this would be my
that's big.
debut.
Dude.
Yeah.
You only debut once. That's exciting.
I know. Nerve-wracking.
Sorry, I'm not trying to put pressure on you.
I know, geez. No. I keep getting stuck because I have a lot of music that I really feel like people need to hear a certain side of me because I do the bars all the time. You hear the bars, you hear she can rap, but no one's ever actually heard anything past that. And so that's really what this album is about. It's about showcasing that not only can I write the bars, but I can make songs because like that's why there's a lot of battle rappers that are not hitting Billboard charts because they can rap, but they can't.
Say that.
Yep.
You need to write a hook.
You got to write a hook. And so doing that with the songwriting, with also just more personal stuff as well. Because I don't ever touch on touchy topics because I'm still insecure in a sense. And especially with putting out things that are close to the heart. And so this album, I've been going back in my head about how I want to like frame it and what I want to do for it, but it's going to be kind of a little bit of everything. You're going to get all of Lex in one little album, and I'm going to try my hardest to get it out and get it, you know. And I
can't wait.
Amazing. I'm really excited for you.
Thank you. Yeah. I'm not doing this album to blow up. This album is strictly for the people who are already here and the people who want to know more about my story. The blow up album will come up, you know, after the second or third probably. And so
I love it.
It's funny I hear you saying that though. The songs you least expect to blow up,
right?
I bet you they're gonna blow you up.
Yeah. I love it.
Because there's something missing.
So.
Like in the hip hop world, being vulnerable isn't something that's very common. So I think if you're vulnerable in a song and you rap really well and you have the charisma, I think people are gonna love it a lot more than you think.
Yeah, I do too.
I thank you. I hope so. We'll see. But I think I'm done trying to find that one song that's gonna hit, and I just want to make music. You know.
I love it.
Love it.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
I would love to now jump into something I'm sure everybody wants to talk about, and I know we've personally talked about this, so I'm sorry you have to repeat yourself. But tell us, how did N9ne come together? How did you meet him? How did the song come together? Tell us the whole story.
Yes. Okay. Yes. So you guys have heard the story before, but yeah. So I'll start by saying it was 2019, like in, I would say April-ish. And I was on YouTube looking up how can I blow up? Because that's when you're just starting, it's like, how do you blow up? I put one song out, I should be big by now. And so I'm looking up, how do you gain more followers? So I find this guy, his name is Adam Ivy, and he basically has a video that says how to gain 1,000 followers in 90 days. And what he says to do is to go onto hashtags and just interact with people. Be, you know, you want a fan, you got to be a fan type of thing. And which I totally still believe in. I think that you should always make sure that you are supporting the people around you regardless, because, you know, ultimately that's who's going to be your day ones, and that's who's going to buy every ticket, everything. So on like day 6, and then my last day, because I get really like, all right, what's the next thing? I saw this guy, his name was Maze 301, and he was a rapper. I saw the 301, and so 301 is Maryland. And I just interacted with him because I genuinely thought his stuff was dope. I was like, this song is cool, so let me listen to it. Went to his page. Oh, he's on Strange Music. Okay, dope. Like, wasn't thinking anything of it. I know Tech owns the label, but at the time I wasn't like, oh, like super, super duper big N9ne fan. I had studied him as a kid, but it was never to the point of like, oh my gosh, I need to be on his label and everything.
Right.
And I never thought that I'd even be in the same room as him type of thing. But I followed Maze, and then a couple months went by, and I was like, hey, like, how can I get a feature from you? And he said, you have to hit my manager up. And so every time someone says that, I'm like, they don't really mean that. They just mean like, no. If they say hit your manager, that means no. But that's not what it means. It means they're really big on paperwork. And so I hit him up. I emailed him and I said, hi, like I want a feature from your artist Maze. And he was like, oh, and I sent a link to my Instagram of my Homicide free verse, which is the Logic featuring Eminem. I did a verse to that. And he hit me back like within like, I would say 6 hours. And I'm talking like, it's like 11 p.m. He hits me back like 6 a.m. And he's like, I'm so sorry that it took me so long to hit you back. Like, it's like 6 hours, but it was cool. Right. He was like, you said that you're from Maryland, right? That's really funny because I'm actually on tour with Tech right now, and he's going to be performing in Maryland tonight. Do you want to come?
Oh my
And I
God.
was like, I was like, whoa, this is crazy. I was like, this is fate. So I had to go to work because at the time I was a believer in the system, but but I went to 10 o'clock. I got off, I Ubered to the venue, and I got there and I went to the ticket place, blah, 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 blah. And I got to watch Tech perform. I was in the sound stage. So I'm like a level above everyone. So I get to see directly to the stage and I get to watch Tech. And I don't think that he knows who I am. Like, whatever. I'm here to see him, but I'm also here to meet with the manager. His name is Muggs. And all of a sudden the music goes down, whatever. He's like, all right, like we're getting ready, da da da. I just gotta say that we had this dope ass rapper in the crowd tonight. And
No
you know,
way.
yeah, he was like, Lex Bratcher be rapping her ass off and points to me. And everyone's like, who's that? Like, don't know who I am, but it was cool to me. So that's all that
Of
matters.
course.
And I did get a video of it. It's on my Instagram. But
I'm going to put that in right here.
Yes, I'll send it to you. After the show, got to go on the tour bus. I got to meet Chris, Calico, and got to meet Tech. And it was awesome. From there, a couple months went by. We would interact on social media, and he posted like one of my videos on his page, and that actually boosted me like 3,000 new followers, which was really cool. And I hit him again when I had moved to LA, and I was like, hey, like, you know, you said you want to do a song. Did you still want to do that? And he was like, yeah, I have a song coming just for you type thing. Like, I wrote it with you in mind. And he sent me the track. I wrote to it immediately, finished it that night, and then recorded it, I think, the next day and sent it right back. So I didn't get to go to Strangeland to actually record it, but that's, you know, I probably would have been nervous.
That's incredible.
So it started from you searching up hashtags.
Well, no, it started from her going on YouTube searching how do I blow up?
Yeah. You search hashtags, you reach out to another artist, reach out to his manager, and now you're doing a song with N9ne. Like, that's the crazy, it's just proof of just like, go for it. If you have an idea.
You never know where it's going to lead to.
Always
who's
reach
gonna
out.
Hear it?
Yeah.
Who's going to be at the show and who's going to be in the tour bus? It's just like you just kind of put yourself in the spot. So good for you for doing all that. And now you have a relationship with N9ne, right? Like you guys like text, you hang out. I remember you were in Vegas and you got dinner recently. With him. Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah. We when I came to do the shoot with Connor,
right.
Yeah, we did receipts, and then I was informed that he was going to be there that weekend, so I stayed a little bit longer, and we got to hang out. One night, we just were at his hotel, and all of us. It was a couple of us. It was probably like 6 or 7 of us, and man, like it's crazy to me that he was interested in me, like he was interested in talking to me and having a conversation with me, and we walked around for a little bit, and then we sat, and it was just me and him face to face talking. And we were sitting at this table, and then finally someone's like, well, let's take a picture. I wasn't even thinking about taking a picture because to me, like, that's where I'm way off on the marketing and the branding side, because I'm like, a lot of the moments that I have, I like to keep them my moments and not necessarily share them. But when you are trying to make it and trying to be on a public platform, you kind of have to. Your life becomes, you know, everyone else's business. And
I sort of see it too as like, sorry to cut you off. You have so many supporters and fans who want to root for you. So when you post a photo like that, they're happy for you. Like they want to see that. And so it's almost like you're showing them like, hey, look what your support is helping me do. Like
exactly.
Great. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Definitely.
I love that story.
Actually, we went to a pool party the next day, which was cool too. So I was like,
I remember that. I think I saw a photo of that. And I was like, freaking Lex.
Look at her go.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So
yeah,
I don't.
And I also got to. Oh yeah.
Oh, sorry. Nope.
I had to do a quick shout out to. I met X-Rated when I was over there. He's also a really amazing artist who's been rapping for a minute, and he had just kind of gotten out. And he was also really cool. So I had to throw that too.
Shout out X-rated.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Sorry, what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, if you didn't have any other questions, I wanted to ask kind of like my just two final questions.
Yeah, my final question was gonna be what's next for you, but now I know it sounds like the album, so that's your main focus right now. Do you have a release date in mind, or at least a month?
Yes, January. And
wow, that's soon. Wait, so
really
how many
soon.
songs are done?
6.
6 of the 10. Wow, incredible.
Six
I had no
of
idea it was this
4.
soon. That's awesome.
Yep. So I'm gonna try to get it out. And I want to drop it on my birthday on January 17th.
Oh,
Okay, awesome.
So
I love that.
my debut
maybe we can
album. Yep.
Post the episode that day or something.
Oh, we'll post it like crazy.
Yeah.
I better see you posting freaking 3 times a day on TikTok
I
lives
know.
to promote that album.
I know.
And hey, posting those ads too on Facebook.
I'm gonna be texting her like, you better
Yeah.
freaking post today.
Yeah. I'm cool.
That's
I love it. I
amazing.
need it. Awesome.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, because this podcast is so heavily focused on independent artists, I just wanted to say, well, there's 2 questions. What would you say is the hardest part about being an independent artist? And what is the best part about being an independent artist for you?
Hardest, I think everyone will agree, is going to be the money aspect of it. It's difficult to, like, let's say you know exactly who to market to, but you don't have the money to market to them, or getting the music videos, because I have to pay for everything, right? I pay for my shoots, I pay for the studio time if I need it, I pay for mixing and mastering if I need it. And so sometimes it's heavy on the pockets. And then I would also say the other thing, which is kind of an equal, is is not having the accountability, right? When you have a label or someone pushing you, you have to get things done, or else they're going to shelf you. But when you're by yourself, you're on your own timeline. So I'm on my own timeline right now. And if I miss a day, for me, it's like, oh, whatever, but I missed a day, and that can kill you if you're consistently missing days. And so not having someone saying, this is what you need to do today, this is what you got to do, blah, 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 blah. But you can still have that being independent. That's not something that I have personally. And then the best thing about being independent is, as of right, like, I haven't seen too much money, but so as of right now, I would say it's the fact that I am learning the business from, bottom to top. So if I do get into a situation where I may have to sign a contract or something, I'm not blindly signing, because I had to learn. I don't have, like I said, anyone. I don't have a manager, anyone who's going to read it for me and just say, okay, scribble. I have to read everything. And so that will help me in terms of my knowledge and what I should sign and how much I should be taking and all that kind of stuff. So that's the best part.
I love that.
I love it.
Do you plan on staying independent for as long as possible? Or if the right label deal comes across, would you be interested in signing something? Like, what's your plan for the future?
I'm not opposed to anything. So there's a rapper, his name is Luke Gone. And I called him one day and I asked him about independent music stuff. And I think he had said to me, he was like, there's no such thing as like a bad label or a bad deal or something like that. Or that's not what he said. I can't even remember. But basically what was said was, people don't read the contracts. And so they get themselves into bad situations because of that, or they don't understand them. And so you can sign to a label and be like Drake, right? And take off and become a millionaire because you understood what was needed of you. You understood what you was going to own and everything like that. And it can work really well. Meg Thee Stallion, another case. Or you can sign in the contract, it says, in perpetuity, you owe us, da-da-da, and then you're screwed forever. And so I would sign if the deal makes sense.
If you get screwed by a label, you have a bad deal, it's not really the label's fault. It's your fault for not reading it.
I would agree.
Exactly.
That's a really good point.
Now, and don't get me wrong. I do feel like there's a lot of people who get taken advantage of. There'll be someone who will say, I got you a lawyer, but that lawyer is actually working with us and they just don't know. And so
or they don't have the resources to have the lawyer in the first place. Exactly. So it's a great point.
Exactly. So my thing is just like, totally. Yeah.
there's so many young artists blowing up on TikTok, and I feel like they have one big song and then a label approaches them and they're so excited and they're just like, sign.
Sure.
And then they don't own the song anymore. It gets millions of streams and they don't get any of the revenue. So it's like, let's not call labels like bad. Let's call not being informed and not making the right decisions and reading everything properly bad. So that's a cool perspective, because sometimes I think people are either just like shitting on labels or praising labels, and it's the end all be all when they're really not, especially in 2021.
Yeah. Yep. Agreed. Wow. Totally.
Okay, Lex, where can everyone find you? Let's get your socials.
Boom.
If you have a website, merch, give it all.
Yes. So you can find me at Lex Bratcher on everything. Everything. Luckily, no one has my name, so I've been able to keep it. I'm sure, Connor, you're the same. The same thing is perfect, so you get your name all around.
I'm actually unlucky. There's a lot of Connor Prices.
Oh,
and you know what sucks too? There was, sorry to jump in real quick, talk about myself while you're trying to plug. There's an artist who was on Britain's Got Talent named Connor Price.
And he won.
But he spells it one N, CONOR. But it's the same, and he's Connor Price _. I'm Connor Price _. But if you miss that one N, you're on some other white kid who looks like me. It's awful. We're like the same person. So yeah, unfortunately, my name is not as unique as yours.
All right, so everyone, at Lex Bratcher. She has merch dropping soon. She has an album dropping soon. She's one of the coolest people we know, and she's going to make a huge impact in the entertainment industry, and we're so excited to watch it.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you. And I'm excited to see what you guys have coming, if you know what I'm saying.
Okay. Thank you. Well, at that point, yes, the news will be out. So.
Oh yeah, we're having a kid. So.
Thank you. All right, Lex.
Well, we love you, and we'll talk to you later.
I would rather show them the receipts. The receipts? I don't want to tell them how much money I'ma blow. I would rather show them when I pull up in that beam. I don't